What you will discover is not just an image, it is a mirror that reflects your soul. Your eyes believe they choose what they see, but the truth, a profound and often uncomfortable truth, is that your subconscious is in charge. It projects traumas into the world of shadows that you refuse to confront in the light of day. The first thing you see in this dark landscape is not a coincidence. It is an echo, a call from the depths of your being that begs to be heard. This is not a simple personality test. It is a direct application of the principles of Carl Jung's analytical psychology. Jung taught that our psyche communicates through symbols, and our shadow, our fears, traumas, and repressed desires, clings to these symbols to send us messages. Here, we will decipher this message. So, take a deep breath. Look at the image now, and let your intuition guide your vision. Do not think, do not analyze, simply feel. What caught your attention first? What did your eyes fixate on first? Was it a melancholic swing, a broken mirror, or a distant door? Memorize this first impression. Reflect on your choice before hearing the announcement. This act of commitment is crucial because it seals your pact with your subconscious. What you hear might be intense, might confirm a suspicion you've harbored for years, or might reveal a truth you were unaware of. Prepare yourself. If the swing was the first thing to catch your attention, then the archetype of the eternal child has called to you. This is one of the most powerful and complex archetypes of the human psyche. Pure eternus, the spirit of youth, infinite potential, pure joy, and exuberance. In essence, the swing is a portal to childhood. Its rhythmic motion back and forth, is hypnotic. It is the sound and movement of safety at a time when the greatest concern was reaching the top and feeling the wind on your face. Your subconscious focused on this object because it yearns for that lost simplicity. The attraction to the swing reveals a soul that deeply feels the adult world is a burden too heavy to bear. There is a profound, almost painful longing for a time when life was not interrupted by obligations, bills, sadness, and the harsh reality of transience. Psychologically, this choice indicates a defense mechanism against the overwhelming complexity of the present. By focusing on the swing, your mind seeks refuge in the last place it felt truly safe and free. It is an attempt, albeit symbolic, to return to a state of innocence where the future was a blank canvas full of promises, not a labyrinth of obligations. The exposure of your shadow, the hidden wound illuminated by this choice, is the trauma of lost innocence. At some point in your journey, the transition from childhood to adulthood was not smooth. It was a shock, a jolt. Perhaps you were forced to grow up too quickly, to take on responsibilities that were not yours to bear. Or perhaps you experienced an event that shattered your idealized view of the world and its people. A betrayal or a loss that brutally showed you that life is not a playground. This shadow manifests today as a paralyzing nostalgia. You tend to idealize the past to the point of feeling that your best days are behind you. There may be a deep fear of committing long-term, whether in relationships or in your career, because commitment means diving into the adult presence you so dread. You might sabotage your success to avoid the weight of the responsibility that comes with it. In the worst case, you feel like a lost child in an adult's body, yearning for someone to take care of everything. But within this shadow lies an extraordinary potential for light. Your connection with the eternal child grants you an exceptional gift, an inexhaustible capacity for creativity, imagination, and joy. While others sink into the cynicism of the world, you still see the magic in small things. You have the ability to innovate, to think originally, to turn the ordinary into a miracle. Your energy can be contagious, and your perspective can inspire those who have forgotten how to dream. Your strength does not lie in remaining a child, but in bringing the best of your inner child into adulthood. You do not have to give up joy to be responsible. My advice for your integration is this: learn to be the guardian of your inner child, not its prisoner. This process begins with mourning. Allow yourself to feel the pain of the lost childhood or stolen innocence. Acknowledge this loss. Then start consciously integrating play into your adult life. Dedicate time to hobbies whose sole purpose is pure pleasure. Paint, dance, write, have fun. At the same time, consciously take on a small new responsibility, not as a burden, but as an expression of strength, proof that the adult you are can protect and care for the sensitive child still living within you. The goal is not to kill the child, but to build a safe space for it in the garden of your adulthood. If your eyes immediately landed on a broken mirror, your psyche communicates through the archetype of the fragmented persona. In Jungian psychology, the persona is the social mask we wear, the version of ourselves we present to the world. It is our biography, our social status, our role as a good son, a competent professional, or an ideal partner. The mirror is inherently an instrument of the persona. It reflects the image we have constructed, but your mirror is broken. The cracks running through it are a detail your subconscious could not ignore. Psychologically, fixation on a broken reflection signals a deep and painful conflict with your identity. You do not merely wonder who you are, you experience a sense of fragility. The image you try to project to the world and the person you feel you are inside are in conflict. The cracks symbolize flaws, insecurities, and secrets you desperately try to hide, but that seem obvious to everyone. This choice reveals a soul that judges its own worth through the eyes of others. External approval is not just a desire, it is a necessity, like the air you breathe. The fear of being judged, exposed as a fraud, or deemed insufficient is a constant in your life. A broken mirror embodies your greatest fear, that others see your internal cracks. Uncovering your shadow is the trauma of a fragmented identity. This trauma typically stems from two sources: a profound betrayal or a devastating criticism. It could be the betrayal of someone you trusted unconditionally, an event that made you question your own judgment and worth. It could also be a criticism, perhaps from childhood or a time of great vulnerability, that has taken root in your mind and become your inner truth. The voice that incessantly whispers that you are broken, bad, or inadequate. This shadow manifests as a cruel perfectionism. You set impossibly high standards, believing that if you wear a perfect facade, no one will notice the underlying cracks. This leads to self-sabotage, as the fear of not being perfect can paralyze you. You might struggle to accept compliments because a part of you does not believe them. In relationships, you might hide your true personality, your likes and your opinions out of fear of rejection. You live with a sense of exposure. However, the potential for light hidden in this shadow is one of the most beautiful: the power of authenticity and resilience. One who has faced their own fragility possesses a unique ability to renew themselves with greater strength and authenticity. Think of the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken ceramic vases are repaired with gold. The cracks are not hidden. They are highlighted, celebrated as part of the object's history, making it more precious and beautiful than before. Your path is that of the kintsugi soul master. By learning to accept and love your own fragility, you develop a profound empathy for the pain and imperfections of others. You become a refuge for those who also feel fragile, because you know firsthand that fragility is not an end. Your potential is to become a healer, a counselor, an artist, or a friend whose greatest strength lies in your vulnerability. The key to your wholeness lies in embracing the kintsugi philosophy. Stop trying to hide your scars and start seeing them as veins of gold that tell the story of your survival. Start a compassion journal and write to yourself as you would to a dear friend who is suffering. Actively challenge your inner critics. Question their harsh generalizations. Seek relationships where you can practice vulnerability in small doses, revealing a little more of yourself. and discovering that you are loved, not despite your imperfections, but for all that you are. Your goal is not to find a new mirror, but to see the priceless beauty in your broken reflection. If the first object your mind focused on is a distant door at the top of a hill, you are under the influence of the archetype of the pilgrim or the exile. This archetype inhabits the psyche of those who feel their true home is elsewhere, that life is a journey in search of purpose, meaning, or salvation, always on the horizon. A door in this desolate environment is the only focal point that promises an exit, a passage, a future. It is small, remote, and the path to it is difficult and uncertain. Psychologically, the attraction to this symbol reveals a mind that lives primarily in the future. Your consciousness is directed forward, toward what could be or should be, as a way to escape the dissatisfaction of the present. You are driven by hope, a powerful hope that everything will change once you cross that door. The pain, loneliness, and emptiness you feel now will be left behind. It is the mentality of, I'll be happy when I get that job, when I find the right partner, when I move to another city. Focusing on the door is focusing on an external solution to an internal problem. You feel that the key to your happiness is not within you, but behind that mysterious and distant door. The dark revelation this choice illuminates is the trauma of captivity and despair. It is not necessarily the trauma of a single event, but the chronic trauma of feeling powerless, trapped in circumstances beyond your control. It could be an oppressive family dynamic, a toxic relationship, a dead-end career, or simply a mental state of anxiety or depression from which you cannot escape. The door has become a symbol of salvation because your current reality feels like a prison. Your shadow manifests as chronic dissatisfaction and an inability to be in the here and now. You cannot enjoy the small joys of the present moment because your mind is constantly, obsessively focused on the door. This can lead to a subtle form of paralysis, procrastination. You dream of the future but fear taking concrete steps to make it a reality. What if this isn't the right door? What if, after all that searching, it's locked? This shadow can also manifest as a sense of not belonging, of being an eternal outsider. Because if your hope is always elsewhere, you will never take root or feel at home where you are. In the darkest moments, life becomes an endless waiting room. But the potential for light here is immense. The pilgrim soul possesses unparalleled resilience and vision. Even in the darkest situations, your eyes seek an exit, a possibility, a hope. You are a born visionary. Your ability to imagine a better future is a powerful engine, not only for yourself, but potentially for others as well. You understand what it means to feel trapped, and this understanding can make you a leader, an innovator, or a passionate advocate for others. Your strength does not lie in the door itself, but in the courage to look beyond and believe it is possible. You have the gift of transforming despair into a path toward freedom. My advice for your integration is this: focus on the journey, not just the destination. Healing is not about reaching the door, but about learning to walk the path. Start by breaking your long journey into small, achievable steps. What is the first thing, however small, you can do today to move in the direction you desire? Celebrate each step. Bring your attention back to the present with mindfulness exercises. Feel the grass under your feet, the wind on your face. Discover the life that exists in the space between where you are and where you want to go. Start building a sense of home within yourself, so that you no longer depend on a place or external circumstances for your fulfillment. The door is not a magical salvation. It is an invitation to discover your strength, step by step, on the long path. Whether your soul is drawn to the longing for a swing, a crack in a mirror, or the hope behind a door, each choice is crucial. It is the key that unlocks a long-closed room within you, past, present, and future. The child, the self, and the pilgrim are not just symbols in the image. They are the fundamental forces that shape your reality. Admitting the trauma you have been hiding is not an act of weakness, but the greatest act of courage, the first and most important step toward integration, toward wholeness. Was the analysis accurate? How did this journey into your subconscious resonate with your inner truth? Leave a comment below. Your story matters, and your reflections enrich our community. If this deep exploration has illuminated a dark corner of your mind and brought you clarity, then our journey together is just beginning. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because with each video, a new door of perception opens, revealing more about the fascinating universe that exists within you.